We should have Nick's wife MC. She keeps cuts it short. Very good. By the way, just in terms of a background in psychology, I think Hannibal Lecter also had a background to consider. And I also like Steve Weber's tagline. I think it could be used writ large, which is, you can't have a politician do fill in the blank, you need somebody who's qualified. That's kind of, I like that, it's very good. Next, any other countywide candidates? Any state legislative candidates? Hearing none. We'll move to another familiar face, a familiar name. This gentleman pulled the biggest congressional upset in the country in the 2010 election cycle. Really was one of the faces of the Tea Party revolution in 2010. That was a continuation in a lot of respects from 2008. And the response, 2008-2009, the response to Barack Obama, his overreaches, too big to fail, Obamacare, and so forth. Joe Walsh became one of the leading voices for the Tea Party movement, energizing the Tea Party in and around Illinois, and through his frequent appearances as a congressman, but also as a pundit, as a Tea Party leader on the cable news networks. Joe is staying involved, which is a good thing, focusing on grassroots, which is a good thing, and that's why he's here tonight to share some of his thoughts. Joe Walsh.
Try to go without a mic. Can you hear me? Yes. God bless. What was that? Roser, Mr. Roser. First of all, thank you. I feel like Steve and I are brothers. We look alike. Come on, really? 3 years ago, nobody on the planet knew who Joe Walsh was. Nobody. 3 years later, after 2.5 years in Washington, everybody knows who I am, and that's not always a good thing. I went to Washington to scream from the mountaintop. And I went to Washington to fight with every Republican, John Boehner, and every Democrat I could find. Because I went to Washington thinking, we got about this much time to fix this thing, or we will forever lose this great, good, decent country, and our kids will never know the first damn thing about it. So I shook a lot of people up. I made a lot of people angry. After 2.5 years, I became the #1 target of the Democratic Party, and truthfully, I'm a Republican. I know sometimes some people find that hard to believe. I've been a Republican my whole life. I want to go to my grave as a Republican. But I'll tell you, after 2.5 years in Washington, my Republican Party didn't want to give me a big old bear hug. I hear it's the same down here, Steve. Somebody went to the board to do the same darn thing. Somebody went to the board to shake things up. Somebody went to the board because they recognized how precious little time we have to fix this. And for that, we are all in debt. Thank you. And I'm going to say something. Everybody talks about this Tea Party movement. And we all talk about these Tea Party congressmen like Michelle Bachmann or Ted Cruz or Joe Walsh or Alan West. And I had the good fortune 3 years ago to run against a candidate in a primary who got up in front of 500 Tea Party activists and said, imagine, he said this 3 years ago. What the Tea Party movement needs is a leader. We need a politician to lead the Tea Party movement. You should have heard the boos. Because you all know, and I know, your politicians aren't leading this thing. Your politicians are not getting this country back. The Tea Party movement, the grassroots people, all of those Republicans and independents and Democrats who have had it with Washington and Springfield, they are going to lead us back if we get back. It's people like Steve who started something, who started a group, who organized a movement, and then went a step further and ran. Do you want to take the country back? I don't know. Do you want to take the state back? Do you want to take the county back? It's that. It's guys getting up off their backside. It's women getting up off their backside. I'll be brief, and I'm sticking around. You and I are drinking toe to toe. I shouldn't say it. Oh, look at Prof's smile. He wants to sit on that.
Helene says she's driving.
Hey, yeah, Helene, I'm not driving home. We live in McHenry. I'm not driving.